Whoa, are my eyes deceiving me? Did CG Matter actually invest in a camera so you guys can fucking stop complaining about the webcam in the comments? Did I do that? Yeah, I did. And the reason we're doing that is this video is super important. We're going to be talking about this procedural Metaball animation, and I thought, why not invest in a camera just so I can show you a equally good looking image as this result is. Imagine getting a camera and then doing the worst take possible of this tutorial. Anyway, I'm sticking with it. This is what we're keeping. So, long story short, you can see what is going on here. There's quite a bit of proceduralism. None of this is hand animated. It's all with drivers and curves and all that. And because of that, we can always change the size of this, or we could change the size of any of these metaballs, and the animation just kind of works. I'm gonna show you how to do this and hopefully kind of edit it down a little. I wouldn't want to waste your time like Ducky or Curtis or anybody else. Let's get to it. So I've started a new Blender scene. This is what it looks like when you open up Blender. Surprise, surprise. We're gonna delete this. We're gonna make a plane, and this is just gonna be the surface where we're gonna have our Metaball animation. For the Metaballs, you guessed it, we are gonna need to add a Metaball, and that can just be a ball, although you can do this in any shape. And you're going to notice that this is looking very low resolution, but unlike a normal piece of geometry, edit mode doesn't actually let us fix that. So go to the Metaball settings and take this resolution, kind of like voxel size, and bring this down, which is going to add some smoothing. Now for the circle that is going to be orbiting around the central Metaball, which has objects revolving around itself, it's kind of like the solar system. To do that, what we're going to do is we're going to add in Shift A curve, and you're just going to choose circle. I know you probably don't have all these. That's because I have an add-on that you don't, because I installed it and you didn't. Just add the circle, curve, and if we go to edit mode, we can size this up, but we don't want to do that quite yet, because first we are just going to move this so the origin is on the side. So I'm going to G, X, and that's something like -1, which now means that if we rotate this, it stays centered on that one piece. So it kind of looks like a wheel that's always contacting the ground kind of thing. That's the idea. So I'm just going to scale this up, and for the animation, we're not going to rotate on the Z-axis and animate this, and no. Instead, we're going to be a bit smarter about this. We are going to open up the rotation menu, and we're going to add in a driver manually by typing in tag or hash or Instagram zoomer millennial symbol frame, which is going to take the frame number and basically output it here. Right now it's going to be a bit too fast because it does it in radians, so I recommend just taking this and dividing it by 20 or 30, and that's going to make it nice and slow. In fact, probably too slow, so I'm going to divide it by something like 10. Look at that, we have a circle spinning. Congratulations. Now to get the Metaballs on this circle, because that's kind of the whole point, what we're going to do is we're going to take this Metaball so it has the same naming convention. We're going to Shift D to duplicate it, and we're just going to make it smaller, and then to actually put it on the circle again without hand animation, go to constraints, add in a follow path. We're going to follow what path? We're going to follow the circle path, duh. You're going to notice that it is kind of sticking onto it, but it's not on the actual path, and that's because it's translated kind of like a delta transform by whatever its location vector is. So you just zero that out, and now it's going to be directly on there. And even better, we can offset it to choose where it is on that circle. So just like before, if we were to add in a hash frame, it's going to be animating both on this curve and rotating on it itself. So it's not always going to be hitting the Metaball. It's like every other rotation or something like that, which is a pretty cool thing. And then, of course, if you just want more Metaballs, you just duplicate it, and then it's still going to have this driver. So I'm just going to offset it by 50%. So it's going to be on the other side. And then we have 2. If we want 3, what do you think you do? You just duplicate. We're going to have one of them go like 33, or a third the way down the path. So that's 33.3. And then the other one, instead of 50, is going to be something like 66.6, because that is 100, 2/3 of 100. Boom, so now we have all those. And if you want, I guess, if you want, what you can do is you can select all of these, scale them down or up or whatever, make sure that this is actually with individual origins so they stay where they're supposed to, and then you can have small Metaballs. So now the question is, we have this kind of like base animation and it's completely procedural, right? Like we can change the size of it, the size of the Metaballs, whatever. How do we get this looking like just a black and white thing or maybe an emissive thing? Good question. Let's do it. It's super simple. What we're gonna do is use the Eevee render engine, because why not? Shading workspace, because this is where we make our materials. For the plane, I'm just gonna have nothing, so just make a material and cross off everything so it's black. This is the same thing as putting in an RGB and setting it to 0. I'm just being lazy and this is fine. And then for the Metaballs, we're gonna make another material. this time we're going to choose a emission, and we're going to keep it on white, which it should be by default. And if we look at it from the top view, you can either keep it like this or with enabling bloom. What you can do is actually have it glow a little, and that's kind of depending on your preference. I kind of like this black and white no emission thing that we have going on, but you could also have emission. You can change the color to whatever you want. You can make that super strong. And again, the whole point of this is that anytime you could change what this animation looks like, add in more metaballs, add in fewer metaballs. To render this, of course, you just, select your camera, center it in terms of rotation and location, bring it above the plane, view it from here, and look at that, you've made a animation once you render it. So there you go, a hyper-edited default cube tutorial. Soon this is going to turn into the CG Matter channel, which is not what I want because that's just more work for me. But anyways, hopefully you enjoyed the higher quality. Let me know if the editing makes it better or worse. Maybe you just like me rambling without any kind of editing. That is up to you. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial mess. I'll get better at this whole kind of thing. If you want to support this channel and the CG Matter channel, so both of them, the best way to do that is via Patreon. Patreon is not only a way to directly fund these two channels and keep them running, because that is what lets them happen, all like 430 of you. Thank you, patrons. But you also get stuff in return depending on your tier. So you could get Discord access, you could get behind the scenes content, blend files. So for example, this blend file I just throw up there because why not? There's also exclusive tutorials. These are tutorials that are not available for free on YouTube. It is a cool thing. Those are more advanced tutorials, honestly, but maybe that's the kind of person you are. Hopefully you enjoyed. That's it. Bye.